Let me acknowledge the Vice President here present, Mr. Eric Ate, the Right Honorable Speaker of the Ambazonia Interim House of Representatives and Representative for Menemo Local Government Area in Momo County, Dr. Winnie Lobati, Professor Martin Ayim, Chair of the Presidential Advisory Council, Mrs. Irene Gua, Secretary of State of the National Treasury, Mrs. Rachel Ita Tima, Under-Secretary of State for Health and Human Services, Professor Bridget Tebo, Executive Assistant to the President, Mr. George Fon, Deputy Director of Special Duties at the Presidency, Dr. Matt Atungo, Director of Civil Society at the Presidency, Reverend Dr. Victor Mba, Senior Presidential Advisor, County and LGA officials, Mbuta Samuel, County Coordinator, Momo County, Ngi, Local Government Area, Barrister Valentine Ghana, Chairman of Mogamo Local Government, and Sylvia Naji, Chairlady of Menemo, Rachel Ita Tima, Chairlady of Jikwa, Enko Marco, Chairman of Widikun Local Government, and Mr. Kenneth, CDO for Momo. Interim House of Representatives, Honorable Ambrose Etenge, Representative from Gi, Honorable Ruth Febe, Representative for Mogamo, Honorable Asabi Jackson, Representative for Jikwa, Honorable Joseph Agba, Representative for Widiko. Permit me to begin by presenting my condolences to the bereaved family of the innocent girl shot in Kumba earlier this week by the barbarous soldiers of French Cameroon, and also the individuals who lost their lives in Boya on Thursday by the hands of so-called ghost town enforcers. I urge every Ambazonian to observe the lockdown and avoid such senseless casualties, because oftentimes Atanganji boys and La République du Cameroon Special Forces enforce our ghost towns more than the people who declared it. They do so in ways that they hope will turn our people against the struggle. Their signature actions are the indiscriminate killing of violators instead of warning and educating them as our boys normally will do. I also want to condemn in the strongest terms the mass arrests of hundreds of innocent people in Moya on that same Thursday, a majority of whom were women and children. These people were tortured severely by bees and gendarmes and held against the payment of ransom for their release. We are asking human rights organizations operating in Amazonia to ensure that those who were taken away by these La République du Cameroon terrorists or terrorist forces, for whatever reasons, are kept safe and that they are alive. La République du Cameroon has the habit of taking our children from our homes, driving them away and killing them in cold blood and throwing their corpses by the wayside. Learn a lesson here. Those of you who say you are tired of Amber Boys, that you cannot do anything to stop these barbarian forces of La République du Cameroon, you should examine your thinking. Imagine the way and manner La République du Cameroon is treating our people now. The Calais, the mass killings of our children, the wanton incarceration of our people without justice, the tortures, the insult, the burning of our homes with our sick and the elderly ones trapped inside, the systematic destruction of our nation, and how that we are now refugees in our own country. Do you think if we surrender today or La République du Cameroon wins against us, these barbarians will do more or less of these evils to us? If you think they will treat you better than they are doing now, then you are ignorant. Whatever we are suffering now shall be temporal, if we win. But if you support La République du Cameroon to win us, this suffering will not only continue, but it will increase and will be there forever. Dear people of Ambazonia, let's proceed by appreciating the great people of this county, past and present, who have and continue to pay a special price for our collective freedom as a people. Let us remember especially our heroes past, who paid the ultimate price, like General Ivo Mba, General Commando, General Tiger, and all the lieutenants and foot soldiers and generals who laid their lives for us to be free. Let's also include the civilians massacred, especially the boys that have been slain preemptively by our cruel enemy just to degrade our capacity to resist. And also remember those who have been roasted in fire, including the baby that was thrown inside a pot of boiling oil in Guzan by French Cameroon soldiers. Remember all the women and children who have been wasted just because they are Southern Cameroonians or Ambazonians by these butchers from Yaoundé during this senseless genocidal war declared on us by the senile nonagenarian Paul Biya since 2017. A moment of silence, please. May their souls rise in power until we finish the assignment of our generation. Because we are here today to write the history of our struggle, let us focus on the wins that brought us to where we are today. We may only consider the failures or disappointments just to spice up our narrative, but those who will read our story after us will have the luxury to concern themselves with the other aspects. Let me remember the spiritual father of the Ambazonian Revolution, Fon Gojidinka. He gave us the roadmap, the courage, and the arguments. In 2019, when I returned from Brazil, the statesman called me to congratulate me, and he shed tears of joy and told me on the phone, I quote, "When I saw Ambazonia flag recognized in Brazil, I said to myself, even if I died today, Ambazonia is a reality in the community of nations." That encounter with our distinguished statesman renewed my resolve to fight the good fight till we arrive Boya. Let me assure you today that many of us here will not die until we raise our flag up in Boya, because someone listening to my voice today will be the one to light the flame of our victory torch in Boya. I wish to also recognize the Right Honorable Wilson Tassan, who is languishing somewhere in the dungeons of La République du Cameroon. Brother, you laid the foundation of truth and integrity on which we are building. Let me assure you that, of a truth, we are fighting as if you were dead. But we have also vowed not to disappoint your expectation, as the Lord your God lives. Please extend our vows to your colleagues in prison. Now, to those others who are sacrificing and making sacrifices in Momo today, let me remind you that Momo is a battleground. The enemy wants to take Momo. The devil only goes after those who God loves and is using. That is why the most favored and the most gifted are the ones who face the greatest opposition and bullets from the enemy. But since good shall ultimately triumph over evil, let us not glorify evildoers by talking about them today. Because with God, they are short-lived. Thank you, LGHs and executives. Thank you, our die-hard donors. Thank you, our genuine ARFs. Thank you, our great sons and daughters of Momo, for standing with the interim government under my watch during our turbulent times. Thank you because you did not buy into the confusion and thereby saved our revolution from total collapse. Those who wanted to throw us out, where are they now? Where are they today, if I may ask? Vanished. So if they had succeeded, is it how they would have abandoned our struggle for the enemy to declare victory? If you are a passenger in a vehicle going in the wrong direction or not moving at all, you are free to disembark and join another vehicle unless you are the owner or driver of that vehicle and cannot abandon your vehicle. But not all are pilots. Many are passengers, but in the wrong vessel, driving by the wrong or driven by the wrong drivers. Those of you who were deceived to board the wrong vessel, it is time to switch back to your original vehicle. Do so honorably. The pilot who hijacked the flight will stay put or may stay put, but not the passengers. You are free to disembark. Don't go to the wrong destination or cancel your trip just because you or someone misled you into the wrong flight. Let me address those on the renewed call for reconciliation. The reconciliation we need is to dissolve those friendship clubs we call IG. It begins with a sincere acknowledgement by the party that realizes they did wrong, not to SAKO, but to the revolution. If those individuals are not willing to ask for forgiveness genuinely, there cannot be any meaningful reconciliation. These people should subscribe to a reconciliation action willingly and not co-opted into a reconciliation assembly without their prior consent. You don't need an assembly to reconcile. Genuine reconciliation happens through interpersonal acknowledgement. Only yesterday, remember, some converted our IG APP forum into a constituent assembly and opened the door to ghost members to pass a bogus resolution to dismiss Dr. SAKO from the IG and destroy the IG as we know it. I think some people's greatest achievement in this struggle will be that they too were able to dismiss Dr. SAKO before they exited the struggle. Remember? Bobga dismissed me and exited the revolution. Ayuk Tabe dismissed and appointed a VP in my place that has exited the revolution. Fontem Niba too dismissed me before exiting the revolution. The Abazonia coalition team dismissed me before it expired. Comita and team, the team I call the No Evidence Team, Restoration Council, also dismissed me and exited the struggle. Massa, my name does suffer from Amazonia. What I do not know is how can you dismiss someone and instead of staying to do his work, you decide to dismiss yourself too. So if I was not still here, which one of them would have been prosecuting this struggle as we know it? So who fired them? You don't need a conference. Neither do you need a General Assembly forum made up of repentant and the unrepentant, the patriotic and the unpatriotic, the willing and the unwilling, ghosts and real persons to reconcile with individuals, people you offended. True reconciliation will be done in two stages. Stage one, sincere apologies. Those who offended Amazonians openly should ask for forgiveness openly. And those who also, in the process, offended individuals should meet them privately and ask for forgiveness. And stage two, restitution. Right the wrongs and resolve to be a better version of yourself. In this regard, the IG in the days ahead will set up a committee to hear those who want to genuinely reconcile with us and come back to the fold. I will empower the Secretary of State for Education and Strategic Collaboration, Professor Epote, to head the committee, define its modalities, identify and debrief those who are genuinely remorseful and are willing to make amends. Those who are only about collaboration and not reconciliation will not be our focus for now. The IG cannot collaborate with any dissidents that also call themselves IGs. The IG can only unite with IG, but not collaborate with IG, thereby collaborating with itself. Collaboration shall be between non-identical formations and based on a clear agenda. As of now, no agenda for collaboration is on the table. Very soon, you will hear some of these people opening fora here and there will start talking about raising money, creating committees, and managing the struggle in a forum set up for reconciliation. That kind of forum is called a bait and switch forum, which means they use something to attract people together. Then, once people gather, the masterminds switch the agenda. The forum is transformed into a platform overnight. We have seen many a conference, forum, and innocent gatherings transformed overnight into the people's platform to compete for command and control of our liberation machine. You doubt it? Let me take you down memory lane. The Country Coordinators Forum in 2018 transformed itself into the Upper House of Assembly and endorsed the creation of SCOOP to engineer the removal of Dr. SAKO. The APNC Forum later transformed into IGK. The Fontem Nibas SCPC Forum transformed into SCLC. Our APP Forum was transformed overnight into the Constituent Assembly of Ambazonians, and the ACT Forum was transformed into a superstructure, while the Southern Cameroon's Town Hall Forum transformed itself into the Southern Cameroon's Town Hall Incorporated today. Such maneuvers won't produce the result we want, because you can bait a horse to the stream, you cannot make it drink. Let's tell the truth to each other. Because as soon as the people baited start asking questions such as, who is in charge here? What are we to do? How are we going to operate from here? And who are we going to work with? The whole thing begins to disintegrate. We must tell ourselves the truth. If not, reconciliation will just be the latest lie. Thibaut Nagy, or our friend PLO Lumumba can only tell you the right thing to do, but they will not do it for you. They will speak to the ringleaders of splinter groups in coded language. But let me tell you in plain language, dissolve all the IG caricatures and let us join hands to take out the enemy first and keep politics for later. A government is not a social media forum. It is not a television platform or a club of die-hard friends. It is the structure that represents the state, not two, not three, but the one and only structure that represents the nation. Dear people of Mogamo, Ngi, Menemo, Njikwa, Widiko, your house has been rocked by many tornadoes, especially by the activities of internal saboteurs and infiltrators. These have helped to divide you, discourage some, and disorganize your structures and weaken your hands. These have taken their toll also on our ARFs and the morale of our determined population. The increased presence of La République du Cameroon backed militias in your backyard, the organized extortion activities of these non-La République fighting militias hiding in Momo, The rise of criminal gangs harassing the population are some of the issues you have had to deal with daily. Some of these activities are promoted by CPD and political gangs that want to use our own struggle to fight our struggle. This is normal in revolutionary politics. Loose criminal actors will take advantage of any breakdown of law and order. The enemy wants to use every means to turn the population against us, and certain corrupt actors will use the war for their own ends, especially instead of the collective good. I feel your pain. I am ready to accompany you in search for lasting solutions. Certain things are better said than done. But let me tell the Momo leaders that there are many types of families. During extreme emergencies, your family is not necessarily your biological family. Your family is those who fight with you side by side. The friend of your enemy is therefore not your family, but the enemy of your enemy is your family. Stop telling your children to spare their so called brothers who pull their triggers on them, seize their weapons, arrest and imprison them, and torture them. Stop advising them to collaborate with traitors. How many children will your brother kill before you treat him as a murderer? How many of your children will your good neighbor rape before you make him your enemy? How much will you allow to be extorted from your loved ones before you decide it is time to act, not against the struggle, but for the success of the struggle? So we can fast forward the day of reckoning. Dear ARFs of Momo, I want to recognize your combat prowess from the beginning of our struggle. You are some of the best tested fighters that we have in this struggle. You know and master the terrain today better than yesterday. You have grown in environmental awareness. You have learned combat and survival skills on the job for many years. You have inspired our fighting forces across Amazonia. Please don't disappoint us. Don't look back. Don't give yourself up to the DDR prison. Those who are hunting you cannot secure you while in the DDR, while they are getting killed by your colleagues. They will use you, then waste you in revenge. They will remember you and your colleague actually killed their colleagues and classmates, relatives, and friends. If anything, only a dead man walking will allow his arch enemy to cook for him or be his trusted bodyguard. My advice for Momo today is unity amongst you. Put your house in order with a sense of urgency. Shun those who talk big. Try to turn your heads around with lies. But when you call them, they have no way to help you. Beware of those who pay you to attack or kill your own ARF colleagues. Those who call you to make propaganda audios and videos in exchange for peanuts. And those who tell you we don't need a government. Please ask these ones in particular. What did we restore in 2017? If they say we restored our country or state, ask them, how can we restore a state without restoring the government that was forcefully dissolved by the annexationists? Yes, we restored the government of Joa, which was dissolved. There will always be opposition to every government, from inside or outside. But opposition groups should not be called governments. Calling them governments will not make them governments. When opponents of a government call themselves the government or a government, it is misleading to those who want to deal with us from outside. Such foolishness only provides a pretext to those who don't want to support our cause. They easily cite this phenomenon and call it infighting. Please, Amazonians, those holding on to the name interim government with no capacity to prosecute this struggle are the enemies of our unity and of our freedom as a people. Dear financial warriors, we don't give to reward our forces for what they have been doing, because what about those who are already dead? We are here to give for what we want to see happen. Let's look past our omissions, our errors, and our disappointments in Momo. There is a critical number of forces in Momo that is very ready to bring back the glory, to bring order back amongst our forces and help secure the population better. We are in a grand strategy to replicate what you are seeing happening in Libialem today. The ARFs in Momo have the knowledge, they have the know-how, the courage, and the manpower. They asked me to tell you that they are ready and bound for Boya, that even the internal enablers cannot stop them, and we cannot afford to disappoint them. Let us remember the wise saying that he that waters shall be watered. Momo has grandfathered this revolution financially in a significant way and has contributed her children to our resistance in most of our counties. One good turn deserves another. So let us give Momo in appreciation for what they have and are still doing to help other counties. My office will work directly on the ground with the county leadership to design and implement strategies to contain the threat to our operations in Momo and respond to the cries of our population in Momo. There are certain things I will not be comfortable to reveal at this time, but which we are committed to redress. Momo needs our help because the challenge they face is an all-Ambazonia challenge. My only advice is that your chain of command adopt and accept the strategy we will jointly put in place, putting the politics of it behind. In times of extreme emergency like we have in Momo now, governments function as one administrative unit. Do you know why? It is because at such moments, the survival of the entity is more paramount than our routine administrative bureaucracies. Let's do all to support Momo to empower the county by constituting a special force in record time. Let's also give to these great givers, and let's help the county to accelerate in firepower. Let the 2023 draft for Momo commence. Viva the great people of Momo County. Viva our brave Ambazonia Restoration Forces. And God bless our beautiful country.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President.
This is a masterpiece.
Masterpiece. Indeed.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Wonderful. Fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, your speech is very forward-looking, very
Whoa.
solution-oriented,
Thank
Me, I'm
you.
very
You can
transformational.
jam ba. You can jam.
Thank you.
Gaba.
Let's get down to business now. Yep.
You can jam ba. You can. Wait, Mr. President.
Kambamumba, we are not seeing.
Wow. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for giving us President SAKO. Thank you, God.
The president never disappoints, and so
Never. Because he
really
has the Spirit of God.
Yes. Director Padi, are we having that interlude now?
Mama, we don't have time, please.